everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and today I wanted to give my guide to how to play the best deck in the game currently right now, which is Quest Mage. Several players have reached rank 1 Legend with it. I have reached top 10 Legend with it countless times, hit Legend 3 times with it this month on 3 different servers. The deck is an extreme powerhouse and not the easiest to play, so I want to do a guide to kind of at least give you a general idea of how to play the deck and how to excel with it. So this guide, we will talk about how the deck works, what it wants to do, your Mulligan Strategy, what substitutes you could add to the deck, and what budget options you could have as well if you are missing certain cards. So let's go over it. The deck's objective, quite simple. You're playing the quest, Enter the Waygate, which once you play 6 spells from your deck that didn't, or 6 spells that didn't start from your deck, you get Time Warp, which gives you an extra turn. You do this by generating random spells and completing your quest, and then you want to end the game by playing several 0-mana giants and or Vargoth, getting an extra turn or 2 and killing your opponent. It's a very powerful deck that absolutely destroys any slow-paced deck. Only weakness really is aggressive decks, and it certainly can beat them as well. The deck is just insanely powerful and is definitely warping the meta. So, let's go over the Mulligan Strategy. Which cards do you always keep? Well, the cards, in my opinion, that you must always keep, well, first is the quest. And I've actually heard people say, maybe you should mull it away against aggro. No, you need the quest. Not only does it enable your quest cards, but the extra turn is absolutely vital in getting you the win against aggressive decks, whether it be to win the game straight up through lethal, or by having a huge tempo swing, where you take the board and you never lose it. So the quest is an auto keep. Next, Licensed Adventurer. It's a 2-mana 3/2. Battlecry, add a coin to your hand. You can always play this on turn 2 with the quest active and get a coin. The coin can be used with your Flamewaker, with your Apprentice Cyclone. You can ramp up to different things. It is just an insanely powerful card. It's good on the board, contests pretty much every 2-drop in the game, almost 3 drops as well. Very good card to keep. Next, you always keep Questing Explorer, 2-mana 2/3 Battlecry, draw a card. Play quest, play it on 2, always a solid play. Just always keep it, never throw it away. Next, we have Cyclone. Mana Cyclone. You 1-mana 2/2 for every spell you've cast this turn, add a random one to your hand. You will always keep this card, as it is vital to your success, is to get your Cyclone off by turns 4, 5, 3, 2 through 5. You need that Cyclone. Generate those spells to complete your quest. And generally, you just always keep Cyclone because your entire deck synergizes with it. Insanely powerful card. Next, there's 2 keeps you will always keep if you have Mana Cyclone in hand. So this is only if Mana Cyclone is in your opening mulligan already. You 100% keep these cards. First being Sorcerer's Apprentice, 2-mana 3/2, your spells cost 1 less. You play Apprentice, you can even hold the quest depending, and you play a bunch of 0-mana spells such as Ray of Frost, Magic Trick, etc., etc. Then you play a Cyclone, get your spells. That is the crux of the deck for the most part. And if you already have Cyclone, you will 100% keep Apprentice. You will draw cheap spells, and you will already start with the quest. You can just save it. So definitely keep Apprentice. And in the same line as if you have Cyclone, you always keep Evocation. This allows us to cheat out our Mana Cyclone for 0 mana, as well as guaranteed generate 1 spell, as well as do countless other things with Flamewaker, Sorcerer's Apprentice, things like that. So those are cards you always keep. Always keep these cards. And now we're going to look at cards in the mulligan you want to keep against aggro. First being Violet Spellwing. 1-mana 1/1. Death Rattle, add Arcane Missiles to your hand. This card is just insanely powerful against any deck that runs pirates, as the Arcane Missiles can kill, the 1-health pirates against Odd Paladin. It can test the first totem that an even Shaman will hit. Just very good play on 1. You'll almost always want to play it on 1. You'll want to play this over playing the quest just to contest board against aggro, because you can always play quest and something else later. You'll almost always want to play it on 1 just to contest board. So always keep Spellwing against aggro. Another always keep against aggro, in my opinion, is Sorcerer's Apprentice. Even if you don't have Cyclone, aggressive decks are very hard for a Quest Mage to deal with, and one of the best way you can do that is with cheating mana with Sorcerer's Apprentice, whether it be Apprentice, Quest, Ray of Frost, And then you cheat out Cyclone, you use it with Flamewaker to do a bunch of damage, clear the board, generate spells with Cyclone. You just need to get your early Apprentice. So definitely you'll want to keep it. It might end up being a bad keep for you. It might end up being a dead keep, but you're not going to win games against aggro very often without her. So I do recommend keeping it. Next is Ray of Frost. Again, same thing. It helps you fight for early game board. If you have your Cyclone, you're going to be generating spells. You can use this as removal. Just very, very versatile against aggressive decks and lets you just stall the game. I would definitely keep it. One of the best cards in the deck, but only against aggro would I always keep it. Slower decks, maybe not. And then last, this is always a keep against specific aggro decks. So Flamewaker. If you know it's like Odd Paladin or a pirate deck or just a token-based deck, you do want to keep Flamewaker, especially on coin. But if it's something like, say, Even Shaman, you don't, because Flamewaker is not going to dent the totems that are buffed by, like, Totemic Might. You need your spell generation for that. So Flamewaker is an auto-keep against aggressive decks that are more token-based and not, like, the high-health Even Shaman style. Now, what are the Mulligan keeps against slower decks? Well, you'll want to keep Arcane Intellect. 3 mana, draw 2 cards. If your opponent is not planning on really playing much early game, like it's Warlock, they're going to play Kobold Librarian and tap. Intellect is a very good keep. It lets you draw quicker into your deck to get to your combos, such as Sorcerer's Apprentice, Flamewaker, Cyclone, as well as get to your Giants. It's definitely worth a keep, but only against slower decks. Otherwise, you need that early game push with your early game tempo minions. Same line is, same theory for the next auto keep is Stargazer Luna. This card allows you, again, to cycle through your deck heavily, and you're going to need to against slower decks, because you're going to need to kill them with a combo. And Stargazer Luna, especially when coupled with a Sorcerer's Apprentice, can hyper cycle your deck very quickly. You can manipulate it with Magic Trick, where you put the left card from your hand to your right by discovering it. Very versatile in terms of card draw and can really get your combo plan going. But against aggro, it's kind of, it can get stuck in your hand and it's more of like a Hail Mary. So against the slower decks, you know your opponent's not going to be doing that. Like, again, like Warlock, Odd Warrior, Jade Druid, you can afford to keep the greedier card draw. And last auto, not necessarily an auto keep against slower decks, but if you definitely know you're facing Odd Warrior or like a Jade Druid, you can consider keeping Vargoth, considering some of these decks run Hecklebot, they run Deathlord, and you absolutely are going to need Vargoth to beat them. You're going to need the 3 turns to do the 60 damage it takes. I quite often will keep Vargoth, but only, basically, I know it's Jade Druid, I know it's Odd Warrior. These are basically the only 2 decks where they're going to gain a bunch of armor and they're not going to pressure me. Outside of like Jade Druid might summons Vargoth. That's the only way they're going to pressure you, and Odd Warrior literally will never pressure you. So only against these very slow decks, otherwise never keep it. And let's go to what cards do I never keep in my opener. First, Giants. You just never keep Giants. You want to draw into them. They're not going to be playable typically until like turns 5 and 6. And only in very high roll situations is that different. So you never want to keep either Arcane Giant or Mana Giant. And I also include Vargoth on this list, essentially. Archmage Vargoth. Again, only in the exceptions that I mentioned, but essentially you never want to keep him. He's too slow, often a dead card. But when you're facing these slower matchups, you're going to really, really be happy to have him. And then last, Research Project. Unless you're facing Evenlock, I would say specifically, it's Evenlock, or like Reno Lock, or like very, very, very slow deck, you don't want to keep Research Project. It's just a great card to draw into and play with your Apprentice when you're comboing, as you're hyper-cycling and generating spells with your Cyclone. But until then, you don't want to be playing this on 2. That is a mistake I see all the time, is people keep Research Project and play on 2. This is a card you want to draw into and then combo with it later. So never keep Research Project unless you know it's like the slowest match possible. So, what are some substitutes you can make? So we're looking at the list I've been playing, which has done very well for me, but there are certainly different cards you can consider. The most highly debated one, which I see merit to running either, is you can substitute Research Project for Book of Specters, which is 2 mana, draw 3 cards from your decks. If their spells, discard them. Considering your deck is 1/3 spells, there's a good chance you're going to be milling 1 to 2 cards, but you're going to be getting your late game you're going to be getting to your giants quicker, and in the mid game, well, you're fighting for board with tempo with like your questing, explore, license, adventure, spellwing, cyclone, all of that. The card has seen very good success. Many players have hit rank 1 legend playing the Book of Spectres build, but personally I prefer Research Project, but you can sub out for sure. Either way, you're going to be doing well with this deck. And then Vargoth can be substituted as well. If you're facing no slow matchups, very few greedy matchups, and you just need to hyper draw and get your combo done as fast as possible and get your giants out, you can substitute Vargoth, in my opinion, for either a 4th giant to give your deck more of the consistency to get the giants out early, or you can run a card that's seeing some play right now in Shenvala, 3 mana 2/5 after you've cast 3 spells, summon a 5/5. I've seen people cut Intellect for this card. I think you want all of your draw. If you're running bad cards, for the most part bad cards, like Research Project and Book of Spectres, for card draw, you don't want to be cutting card draw for a card like Shenvala. Shenvala is more of kind of a greed card. If it sticks, it's great, and it gets you 5/5s, it's nice. But in the slower matchups, it's going to be relatively dead. So I would recommend either cut a 4th giant or cut Vargoth for Shenvala. And lastly, I want to look at budget options. If you are missing like a Vargoth or a giant, or you can't get the wing of the Galakrond's Awakening, you don't have Licensed Adventurer, a couple of cards you can consider running in the deck instead of these cards. One I used on Asia is Icelance. 1 mana freezes a minion, or if it's already frozen, deal 4 damage. Just very good with Cyclone. Again, somewhat like Ray of Frost, you stall the game. Just, it's low value, it's not fantastic, but it can get the job done, and it's kind of nice to be able to kill a Totem Golem with Ray of Frost Iceland. So, not the worst option, but certainly not the best. And another option you could put in as a budget option is Mirror Image. 1 mana spell, summon 2 0/2s with Taunt. Again, combo with Apprentice. Protects your, you can protect your minions behind taunts. It can protect your face against like Pirate Warrior. This used to be a staple in the deck, but recently there's just so many more stronger cards to add. But if you are looking for budget options, Mirror Image is a great one, and yeah, it costs 0 dust, can't go wrong. So that is the basic gist of Quest Mage in terms of the objective of the deck, Mulligan Strategy, what options you can do. I'm going to showcase a couple of games where we go over these strategies and play some games out. Hopefully that gives you guys an idea of how to play the deck. If you enjoyed this video and you like the guide, please let me know if there are other guides you would like to see. I'd be more than happy to create some more. And if you like the video, again, please like and subscribe. We just passed 700 subscribers, so thank you all very much. 800 is the next stop, and let's hope we can get there sooner than later. Have a great day, enjoy the games, and yeah, stay salty, my friends. Okay, we have queued up against a druid here. Typically, druids are usually the slower ones. You're looking at Jade and Togwoggle, but sometimes you are looking at Token and aggressive ones. So I'm going to hedge a little bit here. I'm going to keep the Spellwing, as it's very good against aggressive decks. Pretty bad against the slower ones, but the slower decks, since we run Vargoth, we are quite favored against anyway. So I'll keep the early game, and we'll see what happens here. The only aggressive deck is typically the Embiggen deck, but we just want to be prepared just in case. So we're still going to play the Spellwing on 1. We don't have the 2-drop. Even if we pick up a 2-drop and it's a slower deck, we can still just Glyph this turn on 2, and then play Open Waygate and the 1/2-drop on 2, and that'll be fine. But we didn't pick one up, so we're just going to Glyph here. Still don't need to play the quest. He's playing some sort of dragon deck, so quite often it's going to be probably bigger minions, so Snap Freeze is a pretty good pick, especially with Ray of Frost in hand. And we're just going to go face. And again, if he's playing like Oaken Summons, we can kill the Vargoth behind the taunt, which can be very valuable. So we'll go with this line, see how it pans out. Our hand is quite dead, but we run a lot of draw, and hopefully we will find some. He's at 4 mana already. So it's getting a little bit spooky. So again, we don't have really a play here. So I am going to Magic Trick just to see if we can find some kind of card draw, a secret to stall him out. And we got Icicle, and honestly, we probably need the draw. So we're going to take the Icicle. Another Snap Freezes definitely has a merit to it, but at this point, I really need the card draw, so I'm going to keep it. This guy is ramping up pretty big. This is It's not looking too good for us, but if we pick up like something like Stargazer Luna, we could potentially draw our entire deck. So let's see how this plays out. But this guy's given us a lot of mana. And Project seems pretty spooky right now. Not gonna lie, but I think we take advantage of it, and we're gonna draw here. And now we're gonna generate a lot of spells. So this is where you get your big turn with your Cyclone. So we're not gonna use the Snap Freeze on this. Or at least we're gonna try not to. As we have a feeling he's playing some pretty big minions right now. I do think we can Icicle this. We will draw a card. And then we can just get as many spells as we can get here. So likely fill our hand. And we'll just play a secret just to mess with him. And next turn, hopefully, we can start drawing with our Luna. Getting to our Giants. We have Vargoth. We can get through a lot of stuff. But again, he's running dragons, apparently, with the Breath of Dreams. So we don't know exactly what this is. Alright, so he's playing big dragons. Typically, we don't worry too much about the dragons, although there are a couple of taunt that could be problematic. Alright, so pretty low value counterspell for us, but we'll take it. Alright, so this is where we're gonna wanna Luna here and start drawing through our deck. So this was not generated. You need to be aware of your hand size. You don't want to overdraw your quest. Polymorph Boar is pretty good. And again, just won't overdraw our quest, so we play this. And now we can kill that. And we want to complete our quest is completed. We still have more freeze effects, so we're just going to kill this. Gets a card out of our hand. We will overdraw here if he does kill our Spellwing, but as you see, we have Vargoth Giant, and a Reflection. We pretty much get through anything at this point, unless he gets a Wall of Taunts. So it's looking like a victory. And you see the power of Research Project here against a much slower deck is very good. But yes, against aggro, it can be detrimental to give your opponent's cards. He got absolutely nothing, so he is a dead man. We play our Vargoth, we play our quest, we get 3 turns, and we get a whole lot of damage. That will be the game. And yeah, pretty simple. Against the slower decks, you can take greedier lines, and Vargoth is guaranteed to get you there. Even if you have like 50 health at this point, we're always going to get there. And not even close here. Easy game. We get another turn, and we have a lot of giants on the board. A pretty easy peasy game, and a good demonstration of how the deck can operate. Just how it crushes slower decks. You just can't deal with it. So, well played. Easy victory. So here we have a game. Rank 3 Shaman Legend pretty much always means an aggressive Shaman build. So we definitely need to keep Cyclone. Trick with Cyclone I don't particularly like. I want to find my 2-drops. I want to find Sorcerer's Apprentice. I want to find Evocation. So I'm only going to keep this Cyclone. So we're going to hope to find these things. And we got a 2-drop that gives us a spell. We could potentially on turn 2, and there's a good chance we might do this, is play Waygate, Adventure, and just get spells going immediately. So let's see how this pans out. But yeah, even Shaman, tough matchup. We're going to have to fight for board. We're going to have to get lucky. It's one of your worst matchups, but we'll see how we play it. See how it goes. Typically, you're going to lose very hard to Totemic Might. Just the 0 mana spells, the ones that buff health and attack, it's just very hard to remove these minions, period. So. But we have a good hand. We'll see how we go. So we have some interesting lines we can take this game already. So right away, we could... Okay, well, now we have an Apprentice in hand. This is very interesting. I think we're going to still open the Waygate. We could go in on the girl and get an extra spell with this. But I think what we're going to do is open the Waygate. And the next turn, we can try and set up a big tempo swing. We can License Adventure, Coin, Apprentice, Evocation, Cyclone, and see if we can generate something good here. This is very problematic, though. This alone with Maelstrom Portal can completely wipe us out. So I think what I'm going to do here This is where it can get very, very risky as to what you want to do. But I think we'll just start with the Adventurer. And then next turn we can combo our Apprentice with a Primordial Glyph. This is a debatable play. It could be correct just to coin Evocation Cyclone. But we're going to take this line and see if it pans out. Especially if we topped something like Flamewaker, we might even want to be greedier. But that's not the case, so we're going to play the Apprentice here, which allows us to Primordial Glyph, maybe find a good answer. Rolling Fireball will cost 2 mana, I believe. Discounted by 2, and then another 2. So we can play that this turn, clearing the board, effectively. So we're going to do that. So we have 5, 7, 8, it clears the board. And then we can also develop the Cyclone, which will then generate us a ton of spells, which will hopefully help us win the game. Many of these are quite strong, but they cost a lot of mana. But we have board. If he doesn't roll, say, Spell Damage Totem, Maelstrom does not do a ton here, so we're really going to hope he does not roll spell damage here. He's not even going for it, so we're happy to see that. The taunts are going to be coming down very soon, the thing from below's, but hopefully we don't see one this turn. It'd be unfortunate. He's thinking about buffing the minion, but he decides not to, so we're going to tempo out our 2 drops here. I think that's probably best. We can even cheat out a Meteor. Yes, this dies to his minion, but we don't care that. We want the minion to die. Our quest now is effectively going to be complete. We can complete it with our project, our Unstable. We can get another Giant for cheap. And we can even cheat out a Flame Strike on turn 6, potentially. So he's going to be copying his totems here with his weapon, but he only gets 2 taunts, so we're in very good shape here. That's a little bit scary, but we can deal with it. Since we have the coin and Meteor, we can handle this relatively well. Girl, does that change the implications of how we do this turn? The girl makes this cost 5. We would play this. They still can't really cheat it out the same turn. We want to mitigate the damage here, so we're just going to Meteorite this. And yeah, we'll leave our minions as such. Cannot Flame Strike this turn, but we could always... he's got to kill us over 2 turns, or else effectively the game will be over. But we are low on resources at the moment, so this will be a close one if he develops a big threat here. But other than that, we're looking very good. He doesn't develop too much. The spell damage is a bit concerning. He's only like double Crackle, that's his main out. But now we have Ray of Frost. Should lock out the game for the most part. We can complete quest here, which we're going to do. Actually, we want to Simulacrum here first, just to make sure we get the Giant, because I do want to play the Unstable since we're going to have the mana. So we're going to Simulacrum first. This way we guarantee another Giant. We can Unstable here. Just to make our Giants cheaper, maybe high roll a minion that's playable. Quite the high roll, a 1/1. And then we just want to lock the board down here. We have the Flame Strike in hand, so we don't really need to do that. We can Project next turn. We don't need to give him more cards right now. So what we're going to do is just freeze the minions on the board. There is merit to playing the Giants now. But say he has exactly Squall Hunter and Maelstrom Portal. That is a lot of spell damage, but it still doesn't really do the trick, right? He's going to have 4 spell damage in Maelstrom. So we're going to play the Arcane Giants. There's really no downside to it. He can devolve them, but they become 8/8s. So we're going to play the Giants. It's only somewhat punishable by Squall Hunter and Maelstrom Portal. Devolve doesn't do a heck of a lot. So we're fine with that. And now we can complete quest and take the game effectively. So, bad matchup we had here, but overall, just an insanely good draw. We play to our outs. You see why you keep Cyclone. You don't want to keep things that aren't quite that strong. So we can Flame Strike here if we want, but we're going to draw here. we're going to take our extra turn. This guy's thanking us. We're going to Flame Strike the board. Freeze the minion, and we're going to go face. Forcing him to find a way to kill us. He needs to remove our minions and destroy a giant. So you see, we're not playing the quest to win the game outright. We're taking a huge tempo swing that he should struggle to recover from, and that should seal the game. Yes, we drew him cards, but there's no cards in his deck that really answer this board state. So all we need to do is connect for 8 damage, which should not be a problem, and we got him. So again, that's how you need to play the aggressive matchup. Really be aggressive with your mulligan. Get that win con out there. And hopefully these games helped. Really enjoyed the guide. And yeah, check out the stream for more gameplay like this. And let me know if there's any more guides you guys would like to see. Easy victory, right? The deck is ridiculous. Have a good one, everybody.